see. Bit of a late one. Anyway, hope everyone's well. Indeed. Now, I've been looking forward to what I've got in front of me tonight, which is the Roland GR-55, and I have got an old Ibanez Roadstar Series 2, I think. Roadstar 2 from about 85, I think. And it's got the Roland GK3 interface. And this is how all the sound is going to the GR-55. I'm just checking with chat room, making sure all is good and all is well in the world. Good to see people there. Thank you so much. Hello, Native VS. Hello, A to Z. Right. Okay. So why am I interested in this? Well, I've had a little bit of a backstory with the GR-55, which I've used it on a number of kind of significant projects, and certainly in my career. So when I played with Carl Hyde from Underworld, performing all over the world, performing Carl's solo material and also performing Underworld material, that was a super thrill. And I used this with a bass guitar, and we were able to get sounds, all sorts of sounds with it. It's really nice for trying to, get into some sort of underworldy sort of textures, although we didn't try to match them exactly, but it was just the flexibility of this device does allow for some quite forensic setting up. And that's what I wanted to show you tonight, really, because I actually think the GR-55 is largely underrated. And there's a couple of reasons why that may well be. I mean, straight away, you can see that you got this big display on wheels here, but this is all about a lot of letterbox editing. Thankfully, and not thanks to Roland, I might add, there is a third-party editor available made by Gumtown, who's a chap in New Zealand, I think. And, nice work, Gumtown. He's maintained this for years as well. Roland never did. Roland never released an official editor for it. Maybe just as well, based on some of their editors recently. I don't think Roland's strong suite is software editing. Maybe things will improve now they've gone so much into the cloud world. I've not really delved that much. So, however, I've used loads of Roland gear over the years, and yeah, their editors can be a bit perfunctory. The Roland AX Edge, the keytar I did a review for Sonic State, is an astonishingly deep synthesizer. Again, a lot of letterbox programming, so the editor really should be quite helpful. But to be honest, the editor was so poor, it was almost easier to use the letterbox editing. Anyway, yes, we could do the letterbox editing here. I'll do it a little bit just to show you the basic kind of thing. V-Link, interesting to see V-Link, because there was a whole, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so of V-Link being standard on Roland products, and it's a way to connect it to their video system. I've never explored it, but there's a bunch of options to do with synchronizing to V-Link. Not sure how popular or successful V-Link was, just seen V-Link on various products. Never used it. But then you got these shortcuts to jump between different banks. And I reckon some of the GR-55's underratedness kind of comes from the presets. And as you'll see, as we go into the editor deeper, the amount of things you can do with it is astonishing. So to make a preset and expect that to sort of work for most people, I don't know. I think it's probably quite a hard thing to make really bespoke to make presets on this, I think the user needs a much more bespoke relationship with it. And I think that's possibly where this falls down, because you do have to roll your sleeves up. And, like if I go into the edit button here, now I'll show you how kind of ridiculous this is in many ways. We've got like tabs along the top that we can kind of page through: tone, effect, master, and then system. In the system part, that's where you would configure all of the specifics to the way that your pickup is installed on your guitar. Because unlike the successor to the GR-55, well, it's not really a successor, the SY-1000, which is the latest in the line of the GR series, I guess, moved over now from being a Roland. It's always been Roland since the GR-300 back in the 70s, their synthesizer lineage, but now it's moved over to Boss, which their synthesizer guitar heritage, I should say, but now it's Boss. So the Boss SY-1000 is the kind of standard torchbearer. Now, the GR-55 is still available, and you can get it in this really nice blue or black. Still available, but I'd imagine it's probably at the end of its, and I think it's probably at its product sort of end sort of cycle. I'm guessing Cosmo Roland have moved on to AIRD now, so the technology in this, it is a little maybe the last generation, because this I think is around 10 years old now. I bought it in 2012 for another project that I used it for primarily, which was a big rock opera that I took part in Paris. On my website, I've got a big write-up about it, should you be interested, but called Pop Air. And that was a huge event in my life. It was a really important thing for me. One of the things that was a peculiarity about that particular job was that Max Lavia, Max, amazing, he's crazy, wonderful man, had created a very bespoke, I'm using that word bespoke, a very, very idiosyncratic orchestration for this rock opera. So we had to really try to find those sounds as close as we could. And we got somewhere close-ish. But there's nothing else. There is nothing else on the market that can do what the GR-55 can do. Now, just one thing, a word in its favour is actually that big screen, and coupled with on the guitar, there's some buttons here. So when I press the buttons, I can actually move through. I can move through presets like this, and I've got a few controls on here where I've got like a master volume, but you can choose what this controls, and a switch which can go between just the GK output, just the regular guitar output, because I got my jack socket coming into this, so this one cable is taking the audio from the pickups as well as the GK pickup. And just to clarify, no MIDI goes on with these things. This pickup is just simply a pickup with 6 individual outputs, and then it kind of congregates here, sends it down the cable. The Roland is very much using pitch to MIDI, but it's just got 6 monophonic channels to process simultaneously. So some of the latest Roland ones now are marketed under Boss, the SY. I'm getting mixed up with it. Actually, I think all of the current SY range in Boss can do polyphonic detection. You can play polyphonically through some of the models on there. So that's an advance that this technology hadn't got quite to. I really want to get my hands on an SY-1000. I hope to at some point. But I do think there's still plenty of life left in the GR-55. In fact, as I mentioned, the depth of this thing may well put off people, but that's what we like, isn't it? We like things with a bit of depth, and we like exploring. Well, at least I like to think we do. Let's get a sound up. A bit more volume, maybe. Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to do though is I am going to make patches from scratch because I think it'll make more sense. We'll get confused otherwise. So I'm going to go into my users. Let's just whiz down here. I'm just going to check now. Yeah, okay. I'll use this patch. Right. So the control here is mapped to be sustain, so the notes are... Now, what I'm going to do though, let's just switch over to here so we can follow what's going to go on. Right. I'll just give us a quick walk through the structure and then we'll start building patches up. Okay, so a little bit confusing, but you've got four different generators, if you will. The normal pickups, what comes out here, then Cosmo Modeling. Now, within this Cosmo Modeling is the continuation of the GR synthesizer legacy. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. But then you've got two synths. And these are full synth voices. So if I was to click on here, for instance, we've got all the parameters available to us. And but if we were to look here, then we find this enormous list. I can't remember how many it is. I should have looked it up. It's 500 odd or 700 odd. Now, if you're familiar with Roland stuff, if you look through these names, I mean, you'll see there's a lot of the old General MIDI thing, but there's a lot of patches that have appeared on Roland sort of romplers. I'm thinking it's got to be XV, I think, but maybe it's somewhere between JV and XV. And there's a load of these sounds. Now, these aren't just like samples. These are, well, I'll show you. If we were to load one in, let me just like load in, say, tape strings 1. Then the settings, that a lot of these things, when it says tone, for instance, here in the bottom right, tone, it means it's got its own. When you load it in, it has its own sort of parameters already sort of pre-configured. So you're not just dealing with basic samples. They are instruments, really, I guess. They're set up already for you, and then you can then tweak them. But we'll do this in a moment. But you got two of them. So you've got two of those, plus the Cosmo Modeling and your normal pickups. So you've got 4 different sound generators. Then what makes it a little bit confusing is you've got 3 pathways, and the pathway is bypass, amp mod, or MFX. Now, we can see this bottom one as being like a path. It goes into like an amp simulator, and then it goes through this noise suppressor, and then into the mod. So this is kind of like our guitar channel. Really, that's how that's kind of set up. And then we can see it patches back in here, and then it's able to have each of these delay, chorus, and reverb. If we were to look in them, you can have 3 separate sends on. So we've got to imagine there's 3 audio paths running through this, and they can have variable sends each to the delay, chorus, and reverb. There's also a second structure. If I flick the second structure in, it then switches the output of the guitar channel to flow through the MFX as well. So that one gives you the biggest single processing chain, whereas with the Structure 1 is more like the you've got like a multi-effect that is for the synth engines. Now, the bypass one doesn't go through the MFX or this amp channel, but the bypass can still have individual effects on. So you got three channels. Right. Now, sorry to be boring about that, but I want to build up something, so it'll get kind of complicated as we go along. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do, though, is have a little play around with one of the synth engines. So we'll come into this one, and I'll enable it. Just take the sustain off for a moment. Right, let's take any effects off as well. Let's just turn it all off. We'll turn everything off, and then we'll bring them in as and when we need them. Yeah, thank goodness for this Gumtown editor. I'll just show you very briefly, you see, because on the unit itself, you'd have to go edit, page across into whatever you wanted to be in, like say tone, and then like I'll want to go into that one, so I'll enter into that one, and then look, if I step down here, look at all these parameters, and then PCM, that was just for the first one, then PSM2, then you got your model, all the settings, there's a lot in this thing. So we're going to use it on here. It's a lot easier to see. Okay, so they're going to have a little play around with this. Whilst doing this as well, I'll talk a little bit about how you configure your instrument as well, because if you went into like a music shop, picked up a GR-55, picked up a guitar, plugged into a GR-55, and then tried to play around with it, there's just so many things that you'd need to do to make that a really good experience. One of which is finding where the dynamics of your playing, and maybe restricting the dynamics of the sounds, or there's a whole bunch of things that makes it a lot nicer. Anyway, so we'll explore a bit of that along the way as well. Okay, here. So we've got a little bit, let's just reset some of these. Oh yeah, they're a little bit fiddly. So I should have created a blank one actually, but it's all right. We can work with this now. So I'm going to turn on the sustain so I can just play a chord and take my hands off. You can hear that all that weird sort of pitch modulation going on. Let's just mess around with that a minute. Okay. Go right. I'll try and just go through the interesting bits here. String level. So you can set how loud each string plays this particular sound, which definitely makes a lot of sense. At the moment, when you play a full chord, it sounds pretty horrible. It sounds too much. So when you start taking ones out, or even it's really fun when you play you turn all of them off except maybe just the low E string, or just the top two strings. So all of that kind of stuff you can do with that. Time variable filter. So TVF, TVA, time variable amplitude, is something as well very much in the Roland world. So let's mess around with this, and I'm gonna think I'll start with a piano actually. Let's just start with a piano, and then we'll just start exploring a few of the things. Okay, let's bring that level up. See, now the pitch is changing, but I'm only playing the same note. Now this is one of the things that you have to sort of, like when you pick up it for the first time and start playing around with it, those kind of things really put you off for obvious reasons. So, you know, you just have to play around with it and just do really simple things. It's going to take me a moment just to kind of loosen up, and I'll start playing. You want it to sort of pick and track very, very cleanly. So playing with a piano like this is kind of good, just to sort of, you know, and to start to get to feel there is a certain amount of latency, because with a pitch to MIDI, there always will be. I mean, it's pretty fast. You probably can just about hear this microphone picking up the guitar. So, like, it's really important to learn the expectation with it, I think. That's one of the kind of things. If you want it just to be absolutely an exact replica of what you're playing, then you'll be disappointed. So you have to start learning to work with it, because after all, it is just getting a note on, note off. So it's not getting a lot of information. Your fingers are putting in a lot more information than what the MIDI is kind of coming out. Okay. So, you know, I want it to track better than it sort of does. But then when I get the feel of it, I go, okay, I can kind of play into it a bit more of that now. I'm having a bit of a problem with this low. I think it's somewhere around the A. That's when it's sometimes fretting wrongly. Oh, that seems all right now. There. This guitar really needs some work doing on it, because some of the frets are just a bit high. At the top, right up here, it'll trigger. In fact, just isn't triggering very nicely at all. In fact, yeah, I can see it's raised a little bit. So things like that, you know, I need to get that sorted properly. Okay. When you start to feel it, still triggering a bit weird on the bottom E. There. Oh, I think it's just on that. I think it's just that A. And you know, the triggering is fast enough that you can play music with it, you know. You have to kind of get over certain things. It's fast enough. Anyway, this is boring stuff at the moment. Yeah, that E, that triggered. Something's triggering weird with that, so I need to figure something out. Oh, I won't play a lot of that string then. Okay. All right, okay. It's like a lot of the spurious sounds will kind of go away as I kind of tune this up a little bit more. But okay. What can we do with the sound? Well, quite a lot. So it's a piano, but let's just see what happens if we just crank up some of these LFOs and just do things. So that's quite nice. Let's just put some of these in as well. Now, I'm going to make the rates of these. I'm going to make them snap to musical values. I noticed this with the various Roland things that like an LFO speed will be just in numbers until it gets to a certain point, and then it'll switch to quantized musical values. Now, on the floor, just out of sight, is a looper pedal, which is outputting MIDI, and the MIDI is going into the GR-55, and it is set to clock to the external MIDI coming in. So anything like this now, that's it on our grid. Okay, so now let's just do some things now. So we keep seeing nuance around, attack nuance and level nuance. And nuance is essentially a parameter that only comes into play once you pass a certain threshold. So for putting expression onto notes. Although I'm kind of killing it with all of this. I want to do slow. I'm going to do slow LFO. Slower. Let's put more pan depth. Sorry about my complete lack of musicality at the moment. I will, I promise I'll get into some pocket in a moment. Okay, so like, not particularly exciting just yet. Let's have some more release so my notes can... Actually, let's put long attacks on these. Let's take this away from a piano then. And now the LFOs. Sadly, we haven't got time. We can't slow those LFO there's no LFO delay. There's ways to do that sort of stuff, but you have to use other methods. Filter. Bunch of different filter types available to us as well. Right. I want to get away from a piano actually. Let's take it to like a sawtooth or something instead. Let's take it into synthland. I'll grab like a paddy sort of sound. Yeah, I'm sure loads of these sounds are super familiar to Roland fans. Soft Pad 7, the classic Soft Pad 7. Oh, still dropping a pitch. Oh, let's. I'm just going to take some of this nonsense out for now. I can feel it messing with the. Oh, I messed with the pitch with this LFO. That's what I did. Let's leave the pitch alone. Hey, Williams, leave the pitch alone. So those long releases show one thing. There's loads of polyphony on this thing. So loads of voices. I think it might be 128 voices, I think. But I think then, if I then turned on a second one, you would lose, well, of course, you'd lose polyphony then. Oh, I'm still having problems. This bottom string. I'm gonna, well, actually, what I should actually do, what I should, like a proper musician should do, is tune up. Just in case. Yeah, my E string had gone flat. That's why. Oh yeah, look at this. Ta-da! Look. It's a polyphonic pitch tuner. And that is super cool. It is really nice. You can just... you know, the worst offending strings. It's all making sense to me now. So in the synth window, we can choose whether the instrument is whether it's chromatic or whether it will follow pitch changes. Let's get back there. Oh, I think I inadvertently changed patches. Let's just have a play with this, see where it went, where it took us. Oh, let me do that again. Oh! Yeah, so like it's kicking out loads of sort of odd, it's there's some weird kind of glitching things going on. But once you start kind of getting into the groove, you can start bringing them in. Of course, actually, some of these presets. This is the kind of point about this nuance and getting the dynamics right, and I'll play with that a little bit just. So things firing when you don't want them to. It's really hard to do the to engage that with you're meant to stamp on it, and it's actually quite hard to press. In fact, I'm not being able to do it. Oh, maybe it needs to be in the corner. Wrong corner. There we go. So typically that's mapped to volume, which is great when you've got effects downstream of it, of course. But then when you stamp it in, it can then become like a CC controller. The control switch as well can be mapped to do a bunch of things. There's a few other neat little things. If you hit both of them down, that now gives you a little basic looper. the world's worst loop. But yeah, it's got a looper, basic, very, very basic looper on there. And probably, maybe you can just about see, but if you flick this little hinge out, you can plug a USB stick into there, which you can do for a few things. You can keep a memory backup. That's what I did on the road. I'd have the memory always backed up and on a separate stick as well. So pretty cool. If you had some issue on the road, you could probably find one of these in most cities, and then you got your set on your stick. The great Rich Hilton, who often on Sonic State, for most of you know who Rich is, I'm sure. I remember him saying once that when he tours with Chic now, it's like a USB stick is what he takes, because they will supply the Roland keyboard everywhere, the same keyboard, and he just puts his stick, So he's saying he used to tour with all these big keyboards, Fender Rhodes, and I'm not sure if he toured with a Hammond, but he's certainly done his time on the road, and now he's down. He's whittled it down now to a USB thumb drive. Right. I'll go through some presets, and then we'll go and have a play around with the sound engine. I was being way too minimal. I need to get a bit more maximalist with this stuff. So you can get that kind of stuff going on there. So just trying to catch some harmonics. So just letting in the harmonics. So it's like kind of weird techniques that are just... That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool, you just have to dig in more with it. And it does sound pretty good coming out of a big system as well. I played it through the biggest system in the world, Fuji Rock main stage. Holy crap, the sound, that is the best sound system. That's the best PA I've ever heard in my life. It's they don't have any sound level regulations like Glastonbury. The main stage, you can be at the pyramid stage. I was with my mate once, Andy, and I turned to him right near the front. I go, and whispered, "You shouldn't be able to hear me." And he whispered back, "I know." It's like the big gigs kind of have these like noise levels that they have to stick to. Not a Fuji Rock. Don't know what's going on with that sound. Oh, GR-300. Now, that is the sound of the GR-300. It's got some delay on, but that. It's a funny old tone, isn't it? The control switch is like an octave. But that sound, you know, it's a bit of an odd one. I think people might call it a horrible sound. You need to have it on the floor. So these filtery sort of swells are actually really nice. yeah. So it's quite. It is a really cool thing. I think it's a really, really cool thing. It's. I think they're quite a bit cheaper now to buy. Maybe they're around 500. I think. I should have checked, but they're not a ridiculously expensive thing. For what they can do. Now, I deliberately didn't plug this into things like the Eventide H9 or the Ventris, but when you do plug it through those things, I mean, those things make anything sound amazing. So actually having this really super polyphonic, with tons and tons of voices of polyphony going through all of that amazing stuff, then it becomes really ace. But I thought it'd be more fun just to kind of stick within the, what it can do. With the only thing I'm adding is the looper. But I'm really, I'm missing having it on. I've got it on a little table in front of me. It's so much nicer on the floor for obvious reasons with the expressivity, Right, let's get into the editor. Now, I have had it crash a few times when I've tried to use the... It works fine unless I'm using the librarian. Then it seems to crash, so I just need to be careful. I think I'll just... let's just make it sync. Yeah. It's just... Oh, it's not syncing. Let's just get it to sync. It might crash now. It's generally really well behaved. It's just something with the library. Never used to do this. I think it's something more to do with Apple. Yes, actually, it's just syncing all of its presets, I think. Right. Yeah. Nope. Oh, come on, sync for me. That should be connected. I think does auto sync need to be on? Bear with me, sorry. It may be because I did a little bit on the unit itself. It's kind of got it out of sync. It used to be rock solid with all of this. I just wonder if this is something to do with it being on the Mac. Come on, sync! It's not syncing. Okay, I am going to just do something a moment. Sorry, be back in a mo. Let's see. Is this back? No, it's... Do you know what? This is really annoying. This is weird. It's just acting up. I'm just going to I'm going to power cycle a GR-55. I think somehow it's lost its connection. There is a little Okay. Oh, that acknowledged that it wasn't connected. Okay. Hang tight, everyone. We'll be back. How annoying. It's meant to be connected. It's not saying it's not found. So USB has thrown a little bit of a wobbler tonight, I'm afraid. Yeah. Sorry about this. I don't know. How disappointing. I was really enjoying this, and now it's gone funny. No, it's not. Hang about. Let me just check one more thing. It all says it's all connected, all fine. Grr. I checked all of this yesterday, all worked fine. I'm a bit gutted. Oh well, might just have to be playing with the looper instead. Apologies. I'm so peed off about this. You're getting lots of poly sitar for your money. Oh. I think if you're hearing some of them. Yeah, it's crashed on the computer, it has. It used to be rock solid. I used to have it open all the time through all the shows that I was doing. I would have a laptop connected. So this is some sad indictment of an Apple who are constantly pushing everyone to upgrade all the time. It's probably why Roland didn't want to do an editor, or why a lot of companies are dragged kicking and screaming into the realm of having to make computer editors and then having to kind of keep them working through all these changes. All right. Okay. I'm going to bin off the editor for now, I think. Let's just try one more time. Editor. It's all saying it's like connected. I've power cycled everything now. Hey! Did you see that? It got it then, didn't it? It's synced. Yeah, so something's gone weird in the USB. All right. I'll give it one more chance. Okay. Right. Because I think there are lots of interesting things to explore in here. I got a bit bogged down earlier. I'm going to avoid that this time. In here, in the Cosmo Modeling, this is an area that needs to have a little look at this, because there's quite a lot of stuff in here. So we can pick different modeled guitars. So Stratocaster. Okay, so let's just take some of the effects off and let's put it through an amp as well. So just knock off these effects for now, and then we'll whack it through an amp. Lots of these, again, if you're familiar with the Cosmo amps, these are the Cosmo amps. They're all right. Things have come on quite a bit since these. There is a kind of honk to these Cosmo amp sounds. So like let's just give that a bit more level. Let's chuck it up a bit. Let's get it to. It's last gen, isn't it, of amp modeling. They got a lot more bounce to them these days. You can dig in and get a little bit more response. These feel a bit flat. They're all right. I mean, they're all right. And you can use them once you start messing around with stuff. But let's just quickly then. So that's like a Strat, but that's the rear pickup. So if we went to the front pickup, and actually that second set, it is pretty stratty. And then we can go to a Telecaster. It's got a bit more pointy. That's the rear pickup on there, rear and front. So quite Telecaster-y. Then Les Paul. Oh yeah, see, a lot more gain coming off that one. But they have got. I'd have to knock the volume of that one down a bit. You know. Anyway, not going to dwell on it too much. But that guitar modeling, that's a carry on from the Roland V guitars, and you can choose, as I say, various guitars, but on here as well, we can actually engage a 12-string mode, and the 12-string mode sounds like kind of chorusy, doesn't it? But what's kind of neat about that though is if you took the direct out, so you've only got them. It's like Nashville tuning, I think. Set the pitches of each string. So actually I could say on my highest string I could whack it up even, chuck it up an octave, and then the string before that, let's put it up 2 octaves. Let me just set the fine, set that a little, just bring them a bit tighter. So that's kind of creative. Actually, for fun, let's just whack all of these up 2 octaves. Oh, look at that. That one was just set, that second one was set to 23. That sounded quite nice, actually. Let's knock that one down just one. Oops. You'd get into trouble with that. So this is using that, just that guitar amp modeling kind of thing, but I've still got my normal pickup, so I could, if I turn that off, then this is my regular guitar. So then you can get a blend of the two of them. Yuck. Let's take that one down more. Actually, if I went back into this one, I was adjusting all the pitches, but I've got a massive, I can change it by the whole sound up. So the Cosmo one is an octave above. Yeah. This one. And then the Cosmo one has also got its 12 strings on as well. Now, let's route that structure through the MFX. And let's pick on here, like that nice hexachorus, where each string is being chorused independently. Whoa. Okay, levels. Let's drop the level back a bit. Let's get that chorus sounding a bit nicer. Slower. Let's make it slower. Let's increase the depth a bit. Pan deviation, nice. Yeah, lots of that. Depth deviation, maybe less of that. So it's not particularly nice sounding at the moment, but I realised one thing. Let's have a look what this EQ is doing. Oh, it's off at the moment. So you've got like a global EQ. That's the last thing everything passes through. And you've got a character control. And that character control is really powerful. Has a huge effect on the sound. So let's increase the brightness. Okay. This will get more interesting. Bear with me. Because there is something lurking in this pedal that I think a lot of people don't realise, is it's got a whole bunch of hidden LFOs, like global LFOs that you can route all over the place. And that's what I'm kind of giving a little hint there where we're going to be heading to. So actually a sound like this. Let's whack up that mid gain. Let's pull that back a little bit. Let's get some... a bit too much. Move that over. At least the editor seems to be working now. I thought we should be getting more stereo action going on. Let me just check. Okay, we'll get some, oops. Okay, this sound is pretty normal at the moment, and there's a reason for that, because I'm going to bury that back and then bring in some of these synth sounds. So we'll just take them out in levels, and then let's try this polysynth, see what it sounds like. The chorus is doing something to the stereo. What's happening here? Yeah, pan deviation. I can't decide. Yeah, no, let's do it that way. So, okay. Once I've got to try and keep... I need to be more entertaining, because where we're going to get to is going to be more weird. Let's get some of this. Let's get some... Yeah, let's get some envelope depth. So these envelopes being sort of bipolar envelopes is kind of confusing to look at, because it just doesn't look like, they don't look like envelopes, and they don't resemble what they should be doing. So not very intuitive. Right. Let's get some velocity on filter. Let's pull that filter down. Hang on. This isn't... Something's not working. No, it is working. It's me. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I was playing around with this yesterday. I was getting these amazing sounds. I was tripping off on it. Oh, let's just be random then. No, pitch. Leave that pitch alone. Oh, let's just... envelope. Envelope is dangerous to change. Okay, this isn't going particularly well, but we'll see how we get on now. Now let's just bring these guitars back in and see what it's... So as a... Make those attacks slow so this lags in. Oops, I think it's that the other way. See, it gets confusing because you've got so many velocity sensitive areas, attack velocity, you know, just everywhere. Right, I'm going to enable chromatic. Sometimes it's easier when you do chromatic just to, when you want to play lots of chords, just keeps it cleaner. I'm going to find a different sound. Let's bring in some of the, let's try some of these instead. Oh. So I need to get the attacks velocity, I think. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, that's good. I feel I'm coming unstuck a bit here. I feel like my demo is really, really poor. So I think I'm going to do something else for a moment just to get my mojo back up, because I feel I'm going down a hole and it's not a good place. When I go down the kind of ambient nightmare hole instead, that's a nice place to be in. Yeah, I'm going to move on. I'm struggling to do something on that, and I can't remember. There's a few settings. I'll come back to it. I want to find my mojo. So I'm going to go seeking the mojo in here. Koto Dreams, classic. Okay, let's get right, okay. So I'm just getting a feel of the velocity. Okay, so that's a nice. Oh yeah, I will show you something on the editor though. If you go into the master, you can choose an alternative tuning. So I'll turn on Open D. So I have to be careful that you don't hear my strings because they'll sound out of tune. So, but if I play, oops, excuse my French. Oh, that. That's fine. Oh, legato solo. It's like that kind of pinched. Sounds very dated to me, that sound. I see these pedals. I might put it on the floor. Voice hit. Nasty. Slow attack solo, that sounds good. Well, now this is classic GR territory, isn't it? Take my mic. That brings in the GR thing again. A growl. Yeah, that stuff is kind of cool. Find me a pedal that does that. Oh, I'm enjoying myself again now. Oh dear. Verdict? Sound like a 303? Should see what's mapped. What's control do? It's like weird, isn't it? It's like there's two things going on. What does the patch? What does this do though? Oh, pitch again. Right. Heaven's bells. Ah, these things are fun. saddle tune, this, isn't it? some pad sort of in the background, I think. I mean, I don't think you'd... I mean, not saying that's particularly good, but I don't think you'd come up with stuff like that using a keyboard. I mean, it feels like guitar music, doesn't it? But, yeah. I'm trying to do toe control, incidentally. Some of the fade moves there weren't as slick as I'd have liked, but my toes are in control. Cool. So I think this is quite fun. So I'm a little bit nervous to go back to the editor because really it should just auto sync, and all of these patches, as I change them, they should... Hold on, that has worked actually. Let's see if I take this off. No. See, it's not working properly. It's partly working. Oh, it's crashed. Down, down, down. Okay. Am I using my touche with my feet? No, I really want a touche for my feet though. Hang on, let me just load the editor in again. As I mentioned, it's a shame about the editor having trouble, you know. The GR-55. I mean, this is a, I think 10-year-old product now. The GR-55, you know, and in music technology terms, that's old, isn't it? You know, it moves so fast. But I hope you can see that. I think that it's still got quite a lot of cool potential. So getting distracted by the chat room. So chat room, just to reiterate, I always read it. I love it, but I have to watch it afterwards because it just throws me off so much. But it's so nice. I kind of keep a suspicious kind of glance to it before I not get too drawn by it. Oh, I should mention, by the way, if anyone's noticed, that there is Tone Man having a special event on Saturday called Keys and Frequencies, and I'm going to be appearing at around 5:30 in my own little segment. I'm going to be putting something up about this tomorrow. Yes, but it'd be great if any of you are around and can tune in. That'd be nice. There's loads of stuff happening over on Toman. I think is it for around 7 or 8 hours, maybe. Loads of things. So I reckon I'm just gonna have a little quiet little backwater there that no one will be particularly bothered with. So if anyone wants to come along and support me, that would be really nice. Right. Is that editor going to work? Is the editor going to work? Yay. That's cool because we can get to sort of see what makes up some of these patches now. So that airy pad. Nice. And this LFO thing as well. What is that doing on its own? It's odd, isn't it? What is actually happening on there? Just keeps showing a little bit of my messy desktop. It's not that messy, actually. There's just a few files there. Hide it. Weird. But this is using electric guitar through a Marshall. Ugh, I don't want to play riffs, I'll get busted. Let's see. So if I change, if this will actually sync when I change. No, these are quite nice patch though. Get out of the key of E. Let's do something in a more jolly. Let's do a more jolly thing. Incidentally, the looper I'm using is something I haven't featured yet. I do intend to. It is a Boss RC500. It's a recent purchase of mine. I bought it because it shares a lot in common with my beloved RC505. It's a very sophisticated 2-track looper, but I love it because it's almost like an extension of the 505. And I haven't tried it yet, but you should be able to use both of them pretty seamlessly to go from a 5-track looper to a 7-track looper. But I just kept finding I always use my 505 all the time. And some of the other pedal loopers I've got, once you get used to the functionality of the 505, then the other loopers just don't cut it really. So what's great about the RC500 is many of the key best bits of the 505 are on it. Yeah, it's very good actually. Okay, let's do something in a nice jolly C major. Let's look at these signals. Okay, actually, so in this 505, there is different kind of drum loops. I won't dwell on it too much, but let's give ourselves something to play to. Not that. Let's make that sound a bit more electronic. You can change the drum kits on the 500. You can't do that on the 505. So let's get some nice electronic sounding drums. That's quite nice. So do some like grid bass looping now. So this RC500 is sending clock to the GR-55, so it should stay all in sync nice. Well, saying that will depend on. Oh, dare I risk it? Connect. So just proof of concept, actually. Let's go into this effect. Oh yeah. So it went. Oh well. So it seems to get unstable. Anything to do with any patch management. Okay. Let's get here now. So. Whoops. That's got out of sync with that, hasn't it? I know why now. I got reverse turned on, so it's playing it back in reverse. Nice. Happy accident. Some quags in there. These leads sound very similar. Oops. The muted trumpet that everyone regrets. Fourth or fifth? Oh, that's gotta be like Genesis, like an RME. P90, symphonic rock. It's got my Mike Oldfield DI vibe. Got this easy edit, so if we want to just see if I wanted to chuck like effects on that, just sort of navigate to this effects page. Oops. Change the amp by mistake. I'll stay with it. Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah. Getting more frip territory now. Oh, I whacked that delay. I whacked that feedback up, didn't I? Just thanks for letting me do this. I feel like I'm indulging myself a little bit. That's quite nice, isn't it? Let's try something with that now. Let's see what happens. Let's get a beat going. I'll try more of another electronic thing, faster though. Let's change the beat. Cajon. Let's get a. It's just a good song. Okay. Yikes. Ah, do you know, that was those harmonics. That's what they sound like in reverse, though. It's quite fun, isn't it? What on earth is this? Oh, it's weird length. That's alright. We don't mind that. Sounds like polyrhythmic, doesn't it? It all goes out the step. Well, not polyrhythmic. Polymessic. Polymessic! Oh, poly distortion. This is a classic GR thing as well, with a 6. Yuck. I think it's not the nicest tune. Let's see if I can do something. This does now. Take the beat out. See what this sounds like now. I like the sound of this one. Toe mixing. So easy to turn it all into mush, isn't it? Oh yeah, look at this now. We can go. Like to bring out that, slow thing down. I can remember, there's a way of getting the tempo to go back to our original tempo. Trying to perfect the art of the toe mix. This is the smooth big toe fade mix. How are we doing for time? Our time has ticked on. Hope this is of some fun tonight. The editor crashing sort of threw me a bit, and also got a bit bogged down in things. I've used the editor so much, and yet I was struggling to remember stuff, so... Whoa! Oh! So much for the big toe! So much for... I'm going to cut that big toe off! Showing me up like that with such a drastic fade out. No, I've had second thoughts. You did all right. The toe stays. I'm going to sign off pretty soon then. Rocket Gold, you have 10 hours remaining. Thank you so much. I just seen some nice comments. Thank you so much. That's really kind. I mean, I'm just, farting around as per usual. I was going to call my show Farting Around with Gaz Williams, just as an absolute justification for farting around. Yeah. But I think what I wanted to do tonight, though, is kind of show the GR-55 as being as still a very useful and undervalued instrument or device, Oh, Inky's saying that my shirt matches my device. It's not bad, actually. Yeah. This doesn't quite look just quite right. There's a bit more of a greeny tinge to it, actually. It looks a bit more like that. No, somewhere in between. Fart, P-H-A-R-T, Inky's saying. Well, I don't know if this is working at the moment. I don't think it is. Yes, that is now, but... Oh, it got it then, didn't it? Oh. Look, it's turning them. Yeah, it's not working properly. There's something a bit wrong with it. I forgot to check. What am I running? Mojave, is it? Or Catalina on here. And I think it's not. It doesn't like it. So we'll get it. So it's... Oh, I was turning things back on. Got turned off. I wanted to show you the secret LFOs. That's one of the things, because I think if you've got one of these, you might not realize that there are these kind of global LFOs that you can use. Okay, it's working. It's decided to work. So, right, let's do this then quickly, because I did promise I would do this. Oh, look at that. Turning it on. Is it going to stay on? Oh. Getting there. Oh! Something weird is going on with the tuning again. Let me just check my tuning. Whoa, look at that. It's all drifted way out now. So because it's pitched to MIDI, tuning is essential. With my MIDI bass, it's not, because it uses detectors in the frets to get the notes. But this is all about pitch to MIDI. But as a polyphonic pitch tuner, this should work better than anything else, because it's getting individual signals in which to tune to. That probably will sound nicer. So, yeah, that sounds better. Now, the keen-eyed viewers amongst you may have noticed, well, that the software has crashed behind me, but also sticking out to the side of the subharmonicon is a cable cube from GR-55, which is a fantastic little idea of his to make a way of storing all your patch cables. I'm going to show that on Monday. So tune into my Eurorack adventures on Monday to see that. I want to show that, because something that's remarkable about that is it went from the basic idea into being a saleable product in unbelievable, like a week or something. It went from sort of just basic design to existing. It's amazing. So I'll show that on Monday, along with some other things. In fact, hopefully my guest will be joining me on Monday, who's meant to join me last Monday, this Monday just gone. But yeah, I shall make an announcement about that, hopefully. Right. Yeah, I was going to show you these secret LFOs. Oh, but it crashed, didn't it? Because the thing about the secret LFOs is that they're more sort of powerful. Oh gosh, let's see. Sync for me, baby. So the patch should be this fifth layer, which consists of... Oh yeah. Actually, I've just got that Jupiter lead turned on. So once the thing syncs, this PCM synth should jump to Jupiter lead, and then we'll be in business. Oh yeah. Hooray! Right, I'm gonna have to work quickly before it crashes to show you these secret LFOs. So at the top here, we've got assigns. Now, one thing that's a bit frustrating, I'd forgotten about this. I was planning on using the Electra 1 for mapping a lot of this stuff, although it would take forever to do it, wouldn't it? There's so many parameters. But it's all SysX, and Roland have never released it, I think, publicly. So I think any editor, like this editor, for instance, I think they've had to get all the MIDI implementation somehow privately, I'm not sure. But anyway, meaning that if you want to set up remote controllers to control this, then you're kind of out of luck if you just want to do map control for control. But what you can do is you can use these assigns, of which there's 8 of them. Now, we've seen assigns in lots of Roland products, but if I was to flick onto an assign, then basically we can see source. So our little control pedal is that. So we can see how we can change its function to one of these. And look how many choices there are. Yeah. So right up at the top are things to do with PCM1, then you get down to PCM2, then all the modeling stuff, and so forth. Now, it's worth looking at this list because our secret LFOs can basically modulate any of these things. So it suddenly opens up the effects in ways that, well, this is ridiculous. Now you can see though, it's showing all of the various effects that are available in like one. You're only allowed one MFX at a time, but it's showing us all of them. So this is why this list is so huge. But when you're looking on the left hand side, MFX, and we get to our delays and reverbs, choruses, and then right down at the bottom EQ, and then we get some bigger controls, the overall level, various other things. But you can see there is plenty of options for these things. I mean, it's crazy how many there are. However, we've only got 8 assigns, but one of what those assigns can be, if we look at the top here, is the control pedal, and the expression pedal is built onto the thing. The expression pedal on what the switch itself does, and then what the expression pedal does once the switch is enabled. So then you get this thing called internal pedal and wave pedal. Now, both of these are quite oddly named in a way. These are our hidden LFOs, while the wave pedal is. Internal pedal is a virtual expression pedal, and the wave pedal is really an LFO. So let's choose wave pedal. Now, the wave pedal has got 3 different waveforms you can choose: source, sine, and triangle. And rate, which again, if you move all the way over to the right, you get to your kind of synchronized amounts. And then whatever you want to map it to. So let's just have a look. Our sound, let's just map it to something. Let's map it to some flanger frequency. So we'll go there, assign, wave pedal. So I'll come down here to find out my MFX and the flanger parameters. And then flanger, where are you? Flanger. Here it is. And then we'll try flanger. Yeah, I know. Let's have it change the rate. Okay, let's turn our flanger on. Now, if we were to look on the unit now, I'm going to go into the editing and then page across to the effects and go into the flanger. And then we should see in this page, now look, it is going from 0 to 1. So we can see that there's animation going on our flanger. So if we just pop back to our page here and we go, oh yeah, look, minimum, maximum, 0 to 1. So let's crank that up. And again, you can have this, let's have it going between some fixed musical notes. Like that. Now if we flick to this, we should see the rates changing between musical values. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah. Whoa. Nice. So, yeah. But what's pretty cool, you've got 8 of them. So you can come and just change. So each of your assigns can be a wave pedal with a completely different set of values addressing any one of those mad amount of parameters. So you can see it's like you can make a lot of things move around. But I just want to show you briefly though what the internal pedal is. It's similar. Yeah, so if we set it, I could set it to control pedal. So every time I hit the control pedal, what it will do is it will you can make it jump between different values. And it'll move the values up every time and back again. So that's quite fun. If you pick tone number, now let me see. So when I hit the thing, all right, look, it's going to go from piano. I like it when you start messing with this kind of stuff. All right, let's get this working. Actually, I'm gonna set it back to. I'm gonna put this back to the wave pedal, so it'll be more like an LFO that is modulating what our patch is. That's what we want. That is exactly what we want. So if I make the wave rate slower, now let's have a look then. If we come out of here, page across on here, we should see, oh, hang on, what have I done? What have I not enabled? Assign to PCM tone number. Oh, I'm going to move it up to make it have some sense of something. I'll make it move between synthy sounds initially. Wave pedal, wave rate. I wonder, this is probably fairly limited to how fast it can change patches. There might be like a sort of a bit of lag for the time it takes for it to kind of load. It's kind of going between 2 values, but it's not going between lots of things. Let's widen that up. Tone number. Yeah, so I guess if I made the waveform a square and then it's just, oh, I can't. Maybe if I did it as a saw, it'll go through. I don't know how, yeah, I don't think it likes it. This is where Electron, the Electron Analog 4 is amazing when you have really fast patch changes. It keeps up. It morphs super fast. I think this has just a little lag between each time you change a PCM tone. So I think the LFO... Well, let's try if the LFO was super slow then, and it's only changing every so often. But it's... yeah, so if it's really, really slow, and then it's a sawtooth, let's even just try it. So it's a speed of 1. So I would have thought it should be changing. I think this might be asking too much of it. It doesn't seem to be. Doesn't really seem to be working, does it? I think it's the bottom line. Maybe it's broken. Let's check. No, that's good. Let's go back. Oh, it's a sine 2, wasn't it? A sine 2. Let's turn it back on. It's changed. It's sort of not changed. Oh, it's going super slow, but it seems to be just going between two. I don't think that works. Oh, what a shame. That would be fun if it was really fast, but... Okay, so only semi-successful demonstration there, sorry. But you get the gist of these anyway, that you've got these assigned. So we could have... let's just see what would happen. I'm going to go with the source. I'm going to choose another wave pedal. I'm assuming you can have multi-wave pedals. Maybe you can only have... Maybe only one wave pedal works at a time. I've always assumed that you could have loads. Let's just turn them other ones off. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working. It just doesn't seem to... It's just gone, no. You can't do that. Tone number. It seems to just have broken. It was working a bit, and now it doesn't seem to want to do it at all. Let's just see. Wave pedal. Oh, I know what I was doing with it the other day. Was quite nice. Is if you modulate like reverb settings, reverb high cut. That's quite nice. So the reverb gets sort of brighter and darker. I should be able to verify that when I see it. Is that behaving? Oh, these are... I don't know exactly if this editor is syncing properly. I think that's part of the problem I'm having. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not seeing those. I'm not seeing those values change. That you should. So it's not working. That's my professional conclusion. Oh, maybe I didn't have any things set there. It's working. This is a good reason to ignore my professional conclusions. Okay, so let me just prove this to myself, if more than anything else. If I have more, I'm pretty sure I had loads. I had about 8, I've actually had all 8 on the go. Reverb. Now let's modulate reverb time. Now let's increase that. Yeah, that's working. And have that really, I'll have that changing slow. Few glitches. Yeah, reverb time is something that typically glitches out, doesn't it? That's what's really nice about Eventide, though. Their algorithms just don't seem to glitch when you mess around with sort of changing the time values. Anyway, so on it goes, and just keep adding these kind of wave pedals, and keep having it modify things. Let's see, have this modify the PCM pan. Yeah. Is that going to pan? Yeah. Doesn't seem to be like a sine wave. It seems to be... Actually, let's do that triangle. Yeah, so it is more consistent panning. It seems to sort of be a bit erratic. Doesn't seem to smoothly pan as much as I'd like it to be. It seems to sweep. Do you know what? I realise what it is with that panning, why it's erratic, is because the reverb time is changing. If I turned the reverb off, we would hear that pan sound a lot smoother, I'm sure. No. Stay. That's weird, isn't it? That doesn't sound like a triangle panning. So just suddenly sweep. It's a bit weird. Doesn't quite. So maybe going right down in here is exposing certain weaknesses. Shame, really. I'd love that to be smoothly panning. There's plenty of ways to make it pan. In fact, I could make it pan with its own LFO. Pan depth. Make it slow. So I guess, yeah, you could make this do lots and lots of things. Whether you'd want to, that's another thing. So I'm going to finish off with a little tune. I'm just going to make up some old nonsense, and then I'm going to sign out. So thank you ever so much for joining me. I mean, it's been a bit hit and miss tonight. Appreciate you sticking with me. Software misbehaving is always frustrating, but as I say, it's free software and it's been around for a very long time. The fact it works at all is a bit of a miracle. It's a horrible. All that stuff I just did is horrible. Metal timpani. You see, this is one of those weird things that the patch designers kind of thought, yes, some metaler will want timps. Those timps are panning okay though. Just what you want to be listening to on a Wednesday. Screaming lead. So many of these patches you kind of go, cheesy movie. So I'm going to get my drums to help me along, and I'll put I think we won't use the cajon now. Let's get some 808 type vibes. If we got something like that. Yeah. Let's change the pattern. So in the 500, I will be looking at this in a bit more depth at some point, but it has got quite a bit of stuff you can do with the beats. You can have variation patterns. This is the looper I'm talking about that's on the floor out of sight. I just check in. Yeah. I put it back the right way around this time. It sounds pretty... That's a pretty cool sound, actually. That's not. Different sound. We need a bass. Let's find a bass. Let's find a bass. Bass, bass, bass. Give me bass. Bass. Preset bass. I know there are loads. Where are they? Find a bass, yeah. Give me the bass. Give me bass, yeah. I want bass. Give me bass, bass. Boom, 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 boom. Give me bass. Bass, I am bass, yeah. I'm looking for some bass, yeah. I'm looking for some bass, yeah. I'm looking for some bass. I can't find any bass. Where are they hiding those basses from me? No, bass, 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 bass from bass. Give me a bass. It's not bass. Where are the basses? Oh, I'm losing the will to live. The basses are hidden from me. I can't find the basses. What would it be under? Lead? Lead or rhythm? Oh no. I got a confession, you see. I usually have been using this GR-55 in the bass mode, and you can reboot it into guitar mode, and it's all my patches are really in I found all the basses now. end of the show. Ho, ho, ho. It's the end of the show. So long, and thanks again for joining me until the bitter end. How to thank you, I don't know how, but I am grateful from the bottom of my heart. Oh yes, it's the end of the show, and I'm ready to go. I should have gone to the lavatory before I pressed the stream button. How silly of me. The log has been fallen off. Thanks once again, everybody. Please subscribe and like and click the stinking bell if you really must. And that toe fade again. You can actually set this pedal to when you hit stop. Instead of it stopping, you can set a fade time so it'll fade out. Maybe that would be a good idea to do. Yes, okay, thanks everyone. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I had a few wobbles there. The software crashing definitely put me into a bit of a weird place. And with it seeming to behave and not behave also, that sort of stuff really throws me. But thank you so much for sticking with me. And I enjoyed it. And there was a few nice musical bits there and then, I guess. But yeah, I love the GR-55. It's got flaws, as we've kind of seen some of them, but also it's got lots of beauty hidden within it. I'm gonna. Oh, look at that! We want more after a piss break. Oh, yeah. I'd like to do more. No, I don't want to outstay my welcome, and I think that's plenty long enough. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll be back on Monday with my adventures in Eurorack if you're interested in that sort of thing, with my guest and some other interesting things, and then back on Wednesday for something else as yet undecided. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye bye. Bye bye.